As you can see by the title, I am going to be talking about my first impressions on the Sony 35 G Master 1.4. I just wanted to share my initial thoughts before and after getting this lens. I wanted to share my initial thoughts on the lens before I bought it and then afterwards as well with some sample images. So before I bought this lens, I was using the 35 1.4 from Sigma. Not the new one, the old one, so the really big chunky one. And I just found myself not using it as much anymore because of the size and how heavy it was, and it just became too bulky to carry around with me. So I wanted to look for a new 35mm lens that I could bring along with me to all the shoots that I want, because I really love shooting with prime lenses and the 35mm focal length. Before buying it, I wasn't sure if I wanted to, spend $2,000 on a new 35mm lens. So I was kind of sitting on it for a bit, and I did a bit of research and looking around, and honestly, it's pretty inexpensive for what you're getting and what's on the market that's available for Sony that is that fast down to 1.4. I knew that the new Sony 35 was going to outperform my current 35 that I had. So I wasn't concerned with the performance of it. It was more just like, was I willing to spend $2,000 on this new lens to replace one that I have? I love the 35mm focal length, and it fits in perfectly with all the stuff that I do shoot, from weddings, fashion and commercial. I wanted something smaller, lighter and faster to fit in my bag and to actually make me excited to shoot with the 35mm focal length again. So this one ticked all the boxes for me, and without any impulse, I did buy it. The biggest thing that I did notice after shooting with it is just the form factor of the lens, and it just fits so perfectly with my Sony a7 IV that I shoot with. It doesn't feel out of balance. It honestly is the perfect size lens to fit on that body. I think I'm just more impressed with how far technology has come in even just the last few years with cameras. I just honestly think it's hard to buy something bad now. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe if you buy a Nikon, then you're probably buying something bad, but it's just still so crazy to me that you can buy a lens for a full frame camera that's this fast and small, and for this price. It's just, I don't know, it just blows my mind a bit. The autofocus on this lens is incredible, especially coming from an older Sigma version. That was the biggest thing I noticed straight away, was how fast and how responsive the autofocus was in finding subjects, and even finding the subject before I was about to press the trigger. It's already on it. So I shot a wedding on the weekend with it pretty much the whole day, and I had no issues at all. The best thing is that I didn't even notice the autofocus slip up in low light either. It was pretty much performed the exact same the whole way through the day. And the best bit about the focusing is that it's not noisy at all. I wasn't really looking out for it, but I feel like when you're shooting, you can kind of hear your lenses hunt, and I couldn't hear any of the lens. Obviously, the last thing is, image quality. It's pretty incredible, and I was really impressed at how much of the subject is in focus at 1.4 as well. I know with the old Sigma that I was using at 1.4, it's pretty soft around the whole subject, but with this one, there was quite a lot of the subject still in focus, which is nice, but you still get the really beautiful background separation and dreamy look. So yeah, I was really impressed with that. If you are in the market for a new 35mm lens, I can definitely recommend picking one of these up, especially if you are a working professional shooting all the time and you have the budget for it. Then I would, hands down, get it without any hesitation. The only hesitation I'd have if you're not getting paid for your work with this lens, it is $2,000, but if you got the budget for it regardless, then I can easily recommend this lens. If you're not willing to spend the $2,000 on your lens, then there are other alternatives, especially for Sony now. I know Sigma, their new lenses that they've got, especially their travel ones, they do a 35 f2 lens, which is really good, and it's half the size of this one. So it's a really small lens, and to get down to f2 is pretty impressive for the size of that thing too. I haven't done too much research on it, but I've just seen the price and the size of it, and I was like, that's pretty impressive. That's going to wrap up the video. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in to the end of this. Hope you enjoyed. This one is a bit of a different video, but I just wanted to give my impressions on this lens because I really like it and it works perfect for my work. If you're still here, make sure to check me out on Instagram And yeah, make sure you subscribe as well, because there'll be more content coming. And we'll see you soon.